Okay, Basi Legani Tavshel Chav Daled Eis Daled. Last thing the Rebbe is explaining that you have, even in the chayas that come into the world, there's two levels. Like you have Tachiar is Desha. Hashem says like make vegetation, which everything in that aspect is equal, and then you have the details of it. So he says when a person meditates into that, they come to the hakara of that Hashem not only gives life to everything but creates everything, which is the two aspects. He creates everything and he gives life to everything. So he says, V'hinei in Dalit, Mashiach Tzavatim Mechayes Kulam. When it says in the pasuk, Hashem gives life to everything, that means not only the physical realm, but even the spiritual, everything. Hashem created even the spirituality. No, he's saying it like this. When Hashem created everything, it doesn't mean only holy things, good things. When it says koil, it means everything, but not mamish everything. You say there's a din, rubei kakulei, or whatever. Sometimes you have an expression, koil everything. It doesn't mean mamish everything, it means almost everything. Majority. He says, but here it doesn't mean that. Here koil means everything, koil gam inyan klipes. Even evil is also created from Hashem. Every existence in the world, not only the majority, but every single thing. Kula means everything. When the Torah says everything, it means everything. Including even the mitzvah of klipa, yashin ala klal. You have to say, like the rule is, nothing can make themselves. Okay? Even Avraham Avinu realized that at 3 years old, if there's a world out there, somebody had to make it. So he says, if klipa exists, somebody had to make it. Meaning Hashem had to make it. This is what the Friedrich brings in the Maamar, what Chazal say. Hashem supports the world from the horns of these massive animals to the nits of lice. It's one of the largest animals. The lowest of things. That's the Ingashmias. This Re'emim is the biggest animal. Beitikinam, the nits of lice are the smallest animal. So obviously you have that in Ruchnius also. Like he says, Gashmias mishtalshim in the Ruchnius. Gashmias is an offshoot of Ruchnius. So if there's something in Gashmias that exists, there has to be something like that in Ruchnius. Because Gashmias comes from Ruchnius. So in Gashmias, if you have big and small, so then in Ruchnius you have to have large and small. Meaning, is a level of Esa Krones, which is Esa Spheres the Kesed, which are the 10 levels of Kesed. It says Kani Re'em. Okay, Re'em is whatever, it's a massive animal. Now, Chassidus explain, when you have the horn's on top of the head. So you have basically the animal, it's like a kesed, it's the crown of the animal. So just like in Ruchnis you have the world and you have a kesed. So in Gashmi it's also, you have Karni Re'emim, so he says, which represents the Tur Verakis writes, the Ese Kronis, which is Ese Spheres Kesed, Re'em is very big, which means B'Sfiris is Sfiris HaKesed. What's large in Sfiris? Unlimited Kesed. The Kani Re'em is Achi Darge Achi Al Yoyne Shebekesed Gufa Tachlis Ruchnis. Okay? So he's saying, the Tur Verakis explains like this. When the Gemara says that Hashem creates from the largest animal, from the horn of the largest animal, Karnei Re'em, the cannon, the horn of the largest animal, that means in Ruchnius, Hashem is giving existence to the highest levels of Chesed. Beit Zikinim, the nits of lice, which is it's small because of the limited amount of elokus in it, which is the inyan of klipa. Okay, so you have like this. And he says another interesting. Like that, Rizal writes in inyan ruchni of kinim. Everything in Torah comes from ruchni. I mean, everything in the world comes from ruchnis. So lice, kinim, okay, also has a source in elokus. What's the source of elokus? So the Arizal writes like this: kinim, the numerical value of kinim is kuf chaf, 120. Chaf nun yud mem. So you have 50 and 50, and chaf is 20. It's 120. What's 120? Reim is al kuf chaf tziruf and the shem elokim. But it says in Kabbalah like this. We learned, if you have, it says Sefer Yesira, 2 stones built two houses. 3 stones built 6 houses. In other words, if you have 2 letters, you could create 2 combinations. Aleph, Beis. You can Aleph, Beis, Beis, Aleph. If you have Aleph, Beis, Gimel, you can create 6 combinations. Okay? Elokim is 5 letters. 5 letters can create 120 combinations. So it says in Kabbalah, the Kuf Chof Tzerufi Eisis of Elokim is the gematria of Kinim. Hainu, Sheshem Elokim begematria Teva. Mogen al Shem Avayim. Okay, covers. Like Kishem Meshu Mogen, Pasuk says in Tillim. Shem Meshu Mogen Hashem Elokim. Like the sun and the protective shield, Mogen, the protection of the sun, is the 2 names of Hashem Elokim. So Elokim protects Tava Klipa, covers Havaya. L'chein nikra b'shem kinim. Loshin kinui, it's an kinui in Hebrew means an adjective, right? B'shem Yisrael moch yichuna. Kinui means an adjective. Shakini ba b'makom Hashem. Why do you have a nickname? Kinui is actually a nickname. So it says kinui comes instead of the name. And it's the losing of the name, like the Marik writes, whatever as far as Gittin and that stuff goes. So it says like this. So Kinim, so Kani Re'im represents the highest revelations of Kesed. Beitzei Kinim refers to the lowest level of Klipa, the way Elokim in its all 120 combinations conceal Elokus. And that's the concept of a nickname. A nickname hides the real name. From the nickname, you don't necessarily know what the real name is. Like Elokim covers Havaya, the nickname Kinim, Kinui, nickname covers the essence of the thing.
Lice is equal to Elokim.
Yeah. Not the numerical. Elokim equals 86. But Kinim equals 120, which is the amount of combinations you can get from the 5 letters of Elokim. So it's connected to Elokim.
Connected or it is?
Huh?
It is or connected to?
It is the level of Elokim.
Lice is the level of Elokim.
Yeah. And just like a nickname conceals the real name, Elokim conceals Yikevavke. It conceals Havaya.
That's what they couldn't copy lice.
No, that's because it's too small for Tumah to deal with.
But that's not to do with
Like it says, the Gachma Vachme, one who wants to make his name big loses his name. Shebachdei Lies. Negachma K'maimer Azal. Holach HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mahalech Tak Shana. Hashem went a distance of 500. The Medrash says like this: Hashem went for a distance of 500 years to acquire a name. Hashem went a distance of 500 years to acquire a name. Ad lamata ba'el mesatachtein. Likness le'shem, to acquire a name. Hadei za'avad shma, so then the name of Hashem becomes lost. I'll explain what it means. Hainu sheneved Hashem the name of Yud Kei Vav Kei was lost, and Nishid Akinui. And therefore it says Hashem went. The Mishnah says, if you want to publicize your name, you lose your name. Right? So he says, Hashem went to acquire a name, and by acquiring the nickname, so to speak, he lost the real name of Hashem, meaning there's a concealment of Elokus. The nitz of lice, made al inyan aklipis, represents the level of klipa. Shegam shom, even them nimshach v'chayis alaki, like it says in the Gemara. Einoid milvadei, even the kshaf, even witchcraft is einoid milvadei, and even that is only God. So in this paragraph, and Dalit, the Rebbe is explaining that when you say, again, the level of Elokus, Maila Adan Ketz, all the way up and all the way down, he says, just like Ata Mechayas Kulam, doesn't only mean Ruchnius, it also means Gashmius, and just like you have in Ruchnius, Hashem gives existence to everything, the same thing Hashem gives existence to everything in Gashmius. And like he gives in Gashmius, that's where it exists in Ruchnius, because they're interconnected. So now when the Gemara says Hashem gives life from Karni to Aim, from the highest level of Re'im, meaning the horns of the biggest animal, all the way down to the nits and the eggs of lice, it means in Ruchnius, from the highest level of Ruchnius, which is Kesed, all the way down to the ultimate level of Klipa. Kinim, which is the nickname that covers the actual name. Because Elokim conceals Havayah. Okay, so he says, Ninein is Li'il. It explained before, the Rebbe explained before, that when it says, Maila, the God is revealed, L'maila and Ketz, all the way up to all the way down. He says, before he explained, to Klipa, and even lower than Klipa. And he explained before, what is the level of Klipa? When a person, he said, even if they take Kedusha, but Klipa represents things that Hashem made evil. Like, right, Chazar is Shosh Mitzatameis, Treif is Shosh Mitzatameis. A person who sins is even worse than the pig. The pig was created to be what it is. The person who sins had a choice not to sin and chooses to sin. So they're very, very low. Hainu Shamata Mia Klipa is even lower than Klipa. Hainu Misha Ever Adatsan Abeire. Whoever transgresses the will of Hashem, even there, Hashem is there. In other words, like we learned, when a person sins, okay, you take a piece of chazer and you put it in your mouth. Okay? Where did the hand get the ability to pick it up and put it into your mouth? And who gave the mouth the ability to chew? If Hashem didn't give the functioning of the hand and the functioning of the mouth, you couldn't sin. That means Hashem is giving life even to not only Klipa itself, that Hashem created evil, but even to a person who's worse than Klipa because they're going against the will of Hashem, even that is existing by Hashem. Like it says, Eined Milvada, even in witchcraft. And that's what he continues in the Maamar, the Pasuk in Tehillim. If I will travel up to the heavens, Shamata, there you are. Vatsia Sha'el, and if I make a bed, in hell, Hinaka, you're also there. Sha'inyan Ashal, what is the Inyan of Gehenna? Is Einish Levet is the punishment for the people that do the will of Hashem. And that's what it says, Vatsia Sha'el Hinaka, that even in that level of Sha'el, Hinaka, you exist. He says, Shegam Sham Inyan Yashne Orin Sof. Even in the lowest of levels is the level of Orin Sof. Infinite level of Hashem. For Inyan, how could that be? I mean, how can you say that there is Mamish Elokus in its true form, not only in evil, but in lower than evil, when a guy does evil? Yeah. That means there's Elokus in Hamas. Let me ask you a very practical question. Who makes him alive? Who makes him function? Who makes him do?
But not ain't soft in them?
Yeah. Not only that, Ein Ed Milvadei, there's Atzmas in it. But it's so covered, it becomes so covered, not only you don't see it, you think that, like Paul said, Li Ye'erev Ani Yasisini, I made denial. That level is also existing. In Chassidus it says, can you imagine, Moshe Rabbeinu is the ultimate level of Kedusha, Chochmah Vatzilus. And Parei is the ultimate level of Klippa, the lowest of the low Klippa, yeah? And they're conversing in one room. They're talking in one room. The ultimate, Lamai adin Ketz, and Lamata adin Tachlis. All the way up, Kedusha Moshe Rabbeinu was talking with this guy Parei. What? No, you want to say it? Yeah. Oh, okay.
But I thought you shouldn't say Yemach Shemam.
Yemach Shemam is their names of their actions. What?
So you're saying every anything in Gashmias have a source in Ruchnias.
Correct. Well, that's a given, yeah.
Right. So body is a Gashmias.
Right.
And we were told at the end of the time, body would be higher than, how could something that is a source become higher than its source?
Not higher than the source. You reveal the source. And the source of Gashmias is higher than the source of Ruchnias. Now, Ruchnias sustains Gashmias, like the Neshama sustains the body. But loss of love, when the source of everything and the source of Gashmias is higher than the source of Ruchnias, so then Gashmias sustain Ruchnias.
And ultimately is one, actually.
Same thing. Ein Ed Milvadei. But now it's not revealed. But Chesed Meisim is going to be revealed, that ultimate level of the source.
What does it mean, Gashmit is offshoot of Ruchniut? Is it that Ruchniut?
Where does the physical hand come from?
What is that?
Where does the physical right hand come from?
This is the right hand in Shammai.
Which is?
Chesed.
Okay. So what's the spiritual source of a right hand? Chesed. What's the spiritual source of a left hand? Gvura. That means Chesed Atzilus is the source of a right hand. Gvura Atzilus is the source, like you say in Eidon Paschalio, right? Chesed Reyamina, Gvura Netzaveh, then you have Tiferes Gufa, then you have the body. So what's the source spiritually of the body up there? Tiferes. Then you have the right thigh and the left shayit, right? So that's the whole Paschalio going into the human body based in the spheres. Why is it so hard to understand?
No, it's not hard to understand. It's just, does it run it, or does it create it, or does it...
It's mahave it and mechaya it. Both. Ata mechaya is kulam. Atike mechaya le mahave. Both. But this is one of the easier things to understand. Okay. So he says, how could it be? V'inyan kvir mishmevaya admor amtzoi v'sharat tzitzis. The Rabbi Mittler Rebbe explains in Sharat Tzitzis. Mashakol tzivimesek tamayim v'atzir shoel shneim yachad. And the Mittler Rebbe explains like this. The pasuk says, Mesek Shemayim, heaven, and then you have Sha'ol, Gehenna, right? And either way, Hashem is there. So he says, Shneim Yachad, they're both one, which means, Shakshem, Shem Esek, Shemayim, Shamata, just like in the highest levels, that Hashem exists. Shamata, the essence, right? Kamei Kenatzir Shali Neka Ata Mamish. So the Mittler explains that just like the Ata is in Shemayim, in Mesek Shemayim, Shamata. So in that Sha'el, Hineka is also the Ata. Kamesha Nimsa Bashemayim. Kami Fi Shemavai Baruch, so he explains. Shazel Umeza Asa Lekim. Hashem made Kedusha and evil one opposite the next. And he says, Lachain, Kshem Shetachas Hu'ilu de Kedusha. Just like in the ultimate levels of Kedusha, which is Kani the Ein Baruchnis. Like we said, the horns of this Kesed, Yashne Igin Sidus Azakin de Lamaila. Also exists the hair of the beard, Lamaila, which it says, Va'atik Yemin, Yasir Levusha Katalachivan, Vesharei Sheikha Aminaka. It says, which is basically a pasuk, by the way, in the Nelia. It says that there is, okay, remember we learned many times hair. Okay, hair normally is klipa. Hair and nails are evil. Therefore, Hashem says, cut them. Long nails is called in halacha, believe it or not, despicable. And long hair is called despicable. Okay? So now, why, you can ask a question. Hashem didn't create the fingers that, once a month you cut the finger because the finger grows. Or your nose keeps growing and then every so often you cut it off. I mean, it doesn't work like that, right? So Hashem could have made the nails a certain size, and that's just like the finger doesn't grow, the nails shouldn't grow. Or the hair you should be born with whatever with hair, and that's it. And it shouldn't grow, and then you're commanded to cut it off. So why is it? Because those two levels represent evil. Evil, again, is something existing from Kedusha, but minimally. Right? It's a very, very limited amount of Kedusha. Why is it? The nails are alive. They grow, right? If you hit the nail, it's going to hurt. Yet, when you cut your nails, it doesn't hurt. You cut your hair, it doesn't hurt. Right, just close. If you cut your hair, it doesn't hurt. Why? If you cut your finger, it hurts. Why is hair different? Because in the hair and the nails is an extremely, extremely limited amount of life of the body, and therefore when you cut it, it doesn't hurt. So from one side, hair and nails represent klipa, evil. That's why you have negel wasser, there's klipa, when you wake up in the morning, your hands are tummy, and the nails, negel wasser means nail water, meaning you have to wash the klipas on the nails. Because that has to do with the Chatei Tzadas. Before Tzadas, the person was covered full body of nails as a protection, and then Tzadas removed it, and it only stayed on the fingers, whatever. But there's, what?
What about the hair on the beard?
Oh, 1 second. But the hair of the beard, that's holy. The hair of the beard represents Yud Gimel Midas Rachmin, and will to be continued.
So the bald person is much holier than the guy who has that.
Much, much holier.
Wow.
I don't know why, but yeah, I guess so.